Welcome to today's collective reading. This is TrinityGaiaOracle. Coming into this reading today, there was two very intense dynamics of energy that came to me. Definitely assertive masculine energy, and it's either a crossroads for them, like a split, like it's one masculine energy where they get to choose between their lowest or their highest. They're at that level of a crossroads where they choose to self-sabotage or they choose to evolve. But it was very clear that this was something that was being experienced by more of a receptive feminine energy who is balanced. Balanced enough to see the toxin and yet also see the elevation, the possibility, the option to co-create with this individual something that is beautiful. Excuse me there, I had to cough. So this message may not be something that is necessarily desired to come through, but, well, by certain energies that don't want this to be illuminated for you, or for you to start to see things from a slightly different perspective, because our higher selves are having communication right now. Every time you do a reading with someone, your higher self is communicating with their higher self, your spirit team, their spirit team. There's some kind of an agreement that's reached for the channel to bring through those messages between the two teams. And at the heart of it is the universe seeking balance. The counterpoint, the center point, the pivot point between these two timelines, these two options for this masculine energy that is at a crossroads, definitely between something really beautiful and something very like self-sabotage, victim mindhood kind of a state, is trusting that the universe is actually finding a way for this to work through. I am getting a number synchronicity as well. It's 414, so that may be something of significance, synchronicity. Between the two that has come out so far, I have pulled from a Moonology deck here. So for the lower timeline, the two that came out together were full moon in Aquarius, be real, and last quarter moon in Sagittarius, practice gratitude. This is more of the negative, self-talking, sabotaging side. This is like the ego that they give into, that then rules their life from then on. Is basically them abusing themselves. They're somewhatly like blaming everybody else for it. And then the other side is first quarter moon in Aries, step into your power. Last quarter moon in Libra, make time for self-love. Thus the evolve and grow side of things, the willing to go where they haven't gone before, to write that new script, to create their reality in a more positive way, beginning within themselves. Now, in this dynamic, this is something that's going to be mirrored within the feminine as well. She's going to be feeling this echo within her, and just like feel free to invert the gender labels. There's no gender in these readings, it's about energy. So when I say feminine, hear receptive, but just for the sake of the flow of the reading, I will continue with that. The universe too is asking, because it's a feminine form in that center point, be receptive to the plan unfolding that the universe has for you that you don't understand, you don't see, but be receptive to that you don't know and you don't see, that the universe does know and does see. Okay, let's take a deeper dive in here. For the receptive energy that came through, immediately the Ace of Cups came out sideways. And it is a little more upright, but there's a sense of emotion of it contemplating pouring itself out. Correlated with that is the World card in the upright. There is a sense that there is so much illusion around them that they don't realize that they are dipping out their world, that they're dumping their own world, their own manifestation out. Their light, their heart, their innocence within them, their magic, their inner magician, that they're just throwing away their own wish fulfillment. They seem to be in a state of perpetual solitude. Always, it's not healing really, because it's a Four of Swords, but it's not really that they're healing. And they're not really waiting. They're just, with the illusions present, they're self-illusions that they cast on themselves because they think they're protecting themselves by hiding away from the world. They're not actually healing. I'm getting a TV show, Synchronicity. It was from like Vampire Diaries. The spin-off was like the originals, and how Klaus, he would stick a specific dagger in his siblings, and they would just be in these coffins indefinitely until he removed the dagger. So it's a similar concept with this Four of Swords. They're basically not giving of themselves to the world because they don't want to be hurt ever again. And they're finding a way to make it somehow a good thing in their illusions. Which really, they're delusional in that. Which is odd as well, because I have the Page of Swords coming out with that, and it's like they think that they're pursuing truth in this, but every time they find truth, every time they discover a truth, what they find is actually sabotage sent their way to keep them in this state. And they have a counterpart. This Four of Swords is more of the receptive energy, and the Page of Pentacles is more the assertive energy, or the more masculine. They're trying to figure out how to actually bring an offer in of the physical world. And that this is supposed to bring in the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the World and the Wheel of Fortune are the only two cards in what's kind of like the universe is inviting you to contemplate the duality here, the contrast, and determine where you are within this, and then be able to better understand where they may be struggling. So the Wheel of Fortune and the World, these are two things that it's not really up to free will. This is the world that's being possibly dumped out. And this is the Wheel of Fortune that is supposed to be brought in by this being able to make an offer. Now with the Wheel of Fortune, in this particular deck, there is a card that's unique to this deck. There's actually two of them in here, but this one is the Phoenix card. And this one has a lot of the same imagery of the Ace of Cups. And this came out with the Wheel of Fortune. So that is telling me that in the dumping out of this cup that appears to be toxic, and it could be illusion, and that's pouring out the world, and you have this, what is self-illusion, delusion, and what is projected upon you, and determining what is what and where is where, while you're in this perpetual time out from the world. And while you're doing this, there's a mirroring as well as, within you as well as outside of you of their challenge is to be able to make an offer in the physical world to fully bring in this Wheel of Fortune. And having the Ace of Cups with the imagery and this Phoenix, that tells me that the moment this cup is dumped out, and they actually just really see what it is to be without you in their world, with you, the feminine, receptive energy in their world, with your absence, it will ignite a fire within them that changes things. It takes what was dumped out and alchemizes it into its opposite. So it burns away the illusion, the projections, the delusions, the desires of those outside of you to kind of warp your perception of one another. It completely just burns it away. And it takes it from something that was toxic and turns it into the purity of like a dove. That innocence, you could see the purity within it. So in dumping out that cup, and this is the lower timeline, this is the toxic side of them that's coming in to this feminine energy. And they may be aware, this masculine energy may be aware that they're projecting this very toxic, unhealthy aspect, but they can't fully see the truth until they're willing to actually just do away with what is there, to be able to see only that is pure, to only allow that is pure, to make decisions about what is there. Okay. Now, at the top of the deck here, for the receptive energy, what the universe is asking you to kind of be receptive to contemplating, to sit with yourself and your spirit team and go, well, this kind of sat with me and that kind of sat with me, but which part of it implies this and which part implies that? To just really turn within, because really your intuition, this is to just kind of help validate you. I know that it's not the same as getting the validation directly from this energy, this masculine energy, or for the masculine energy to actually know how this is being experienced by the feminine energy. But aside from the two of you communicating, this is to really just kind of add some support and validation for your own perspective and help you to kind of get a little bit out of your own mind a little. And it's like we kind of get stuck at times. We do. We kind of get stuck in this kind of triggered state. And if we could start to see things slightly differently because that resonates and that resonates, we find ourselves moving into a more receptive, energetic space where we can start seeing things and feeling things from a slightly different perspective. And the pivot point, yet again, is trust the universe, that the universe sees things that you do not. And that this is happening for both of your highest goods. So the top of the deck for the receptive energy that the universe is asking you to really contemplate is that you contributed with this Two of Pentacles. You contributed what you desired to bring into your reality with this energy. And they did too. They contributed all of their dreams, their hopes, their feelings, their emotions. They also had their fears and their doubts and their hurts that they wanted to heal, that they knew that you could help them with in a way that no one else could. All of that is there. It's like two yin-yang symbols rotating. Like they're balanced within them, but you're balanced within you, and the two of you are communicating in this process. And what's anchoring you into this state of being willing to do this, where you started this whole thing from, was the desire for you both to be in a mastered, receptive state for an abundance of love and emotion, and to be nurturing of that is around you, that you see love in, with this Queen of Cups. Grounded, aware, and nurturing of that. That is what you both have in common, is that you desire that. You saw that in one another, and that's how this began. You both put all that into a pentacle that you then sent their direction, and you or they then added theirs to the back and forth, like you're passing this ball back and forth almost. It's almost an Ace of Pentacles. If you look at it like that, you're creating your own yin-yang between the two of you. Interesting. So what world are you two creating together? What world do you want to live in together? Look at what you have in common. Focus on that. It seems almost as though they're wanting to heal completely before they bring that offer to you. Oh boy. There's a certain amount of healing that you can do on your own. But then there's healing that can only be done in an actual connection, physically present with one another. We are mammals. We are animals. We have instincts. And there's just certain environmental stimuli that our physical being will not respond to and our mind will not react to unless that is actually in our physical environment. Okay, let's move into the assertive energy. What is the universe asking you to really be willing to act on, to contemplate acting on, to question in a very pointed way? With the assertive energy, it's very confrontational almost. It's very blunt. It's not, there's not really softness to this. This energy has more of the projected illusion, the psychic attack, if you will, present within it. It has more of the energy of those that are interested in keeping the two of you apart present within it. So it's asking you to really anchor in what is you and what is not you. What is them and what is not them. And just anytime you encounter any energy that wants to tell you that, they're just not in it with you, that they're not free, like they're definitely in this Eight of Swords and they're completely lost in the illusion. They're completely controlled by it. They're barely even actually present in it there. That this is not them, that this is something that is desired for you to believe and to make real, for you to manifest this, because at the top of the deck here, we have the Ace of Wands. You have the ability to create and manifest. And these energies want you to make it reality, that the two of you are not a thing, that they have betrayed themselves, or that they're just not able to free themselves and you're alone in it. When the truth is that instead of being impaled by 9 swords, the 9 swords are actually falling away. They're not landing on you or them, they're falling away. So there are 9 projected. And 9 itself is a symbol. It's like, it's just before completion. It's that last step. It's like the 11th hour kind of a dynamic of like, almost out. You have a lot of energetic attacks coming at you with the, and they're more of mind. They're not necessarily of body, though what we do with our mind can affect our body, and that is part of what is within these swords, these attacks coming at you. You're elevated above it. You're protected from this. And then it's also saying, like, we're no longer in this Five of Wands. There's no longer this agony of being partially present and partially not. And the image is like, it's just so painful to be in this Five of Wands. It's unnecessary as well. You have, in this process of dumping out this cup that has like beauty in it, yes, but it has toxin too. And dumping it out, you are allowing that phoenix within you to alchemize it into that you know to be true, to what is uplifting and what allows this wheel of fortune, this wheel, to actually be realized in a very empowering and pure way for you. Because you will be moving into this new cycle knowing what is real, knowing what is true, aware of what your power is. Of course, those that wish to wield your power and keep you powerless, basically take your energy, they don't want you to know you can do that. They want to be able to use your energy to do what they want to do with it, while you remain stuck in this like perpetual state of self-isolation, unempowered and confused. Of course they don't want you to know that, but you have figured out more concretely of what you do want and what you are willing to put up with. The boundaries are present. And I'm getting the sky is the limit here with this emotional aspect to things. You have the awareness of the duality, that you could be really disappointed, that you could be stuck in this space of complete desolation, the complete lack of abundance around you, no water with which to grow and harvest. But you are reaching higher, 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 because you know that this is illusion. You're not actually lost in a desert, that there is an oasis. And you're invited to, whenever this energy comes to you, to reach for the divine, to reach for the love, the light, the truth. And anchor yourself into those moments in your life when you know you were experiencing actual unconditional love. What that felt like. Anchor yourself into that truth that no one could take from you, that you know has stayed with you for a reason. And we have the Three of Wands inverted here. It's like the world is upside down. We have two here. We have the Eight of Spheres and the Three of Wands. You have chosen a path, yes, but it seems like it's almost funhouse energy. Nothing is quite what it seems. It's all distorted, and there is one truth in this, and that is the moon or the sun. That lets you know what is up and what is down. What you are seeking to bring into reality, your light, your joy, your happiness, but also knowing your hurts, your wounds, your history. Like the thorns on, if you were a rose, you would want to know where those thorns are on your stem to kind of be sensitive to them and maybe help others be aware of them as well so they couldn't get hurt. That's kind of a concept of shadow self, that you know where your sensitive spots are. It's interesting that metaphor is coming through. And that's normal, that's okay, that's healthy, that's part of what this crossroads is about. Is it's time for things to really come into the physical, because you can only do so much alone, and it's a scary thing to move closer together in a connection that is coming through in a reading like this, for sure. It is scary to dump out your cup of love and be willing to alchemize that which is within it, that you don't desire to experience the toxin coming towards you, and you don't desire to give toxin to someone else either. Being willing to go, all right, well, what really is toxin here, and how can I change that? You are at the point where it's necessary to do that together more and more and more. There's room for learning, for mastering more. But there is so much illusion present here that's projected as well as experienced internally. And it's built upon from your childhood till now. There is a consistency in the first time that you have a bad memory of, I don't know, we could use food, for example, just to like have a really safe, neutral thing. Like maybe you have a thing with a certain food. Maybe it's like texture, or like you want things cooked a certain way just because you had that one bad experience and then you had another bad experience not long later. And it's just that repetitive thing where you now associate that specific food or food group or texture of food with just bad experiences. So you're hesitant, you're going to have anxiety when you know you're going to be in a situation where that food is going to be served in a social setting. Because people are not necessarily going to be like, what's your deal? And it not be a little odd to them that you're having like a little mini crisis over this food. So with that metaphor coming through, it could be the greatest experience if you don't encounter an anomaly in the food. But if there's that one thing that just, things are not necessarily as they seem here with the path that you have chosen. So find that one thing that you can consistently count on, the sun and the moon and where it is, so you know up from down. And these pentacles, for the Eight of Pentacles, it's like, so I create something and I'm like hanging upside down and I'm supposed to juggle this. I mean, come on now, the pentacle, gravity, it's not going to come back up to me, right? Yet again, things are not as they seem. It may look like you're consistently giving, and not getting anything back. Oh, wow, okay. They were very excited about me saying that part because, the tongue thing there. When these pentacles start coming back to you, and that's not necessarily going to be money. It could be, you know what, you've been trying to work out for a while, and or you've been doing PT, or you've been trying to strengthen or balance something within your physical form, like your diet, and you keep at it and you keep at it and you keep at it, and you're not really seeing the changes that you would like to see as fast as you would like to see them. But the point is that you have learned a lot in the process of working consistently at this, even if there were interruptions, even if there were interludes where you just weren't able to retain as much focus or energy on it. That is coming back to you. And when it comes back to you, it'll come back to you without resistance, because you are dumping out these illusions, these projections onto you. They're not going to be causing a delay anymore because you're alchemizing it. You're saying, I'm only willing to accept that empowers me, that brings me joy, that brings me happiness. Even if that means that, it means you got to go a little deeper into some shadow work, because that's what this is. When you come together with somebody, you're learning about yourself. That's not all going to be roses and lollipops and gumdrops and rainbows, and it's not going to be Candyland all the time. It's not realistic. It's not realistic. The world is an experience of contrast. And this is somebody that the two of you have recognized that you can heal each other in a way that others can't heal you. That you can challenge one another in a way that others can't. And that's likely because you guys, you have abilities, you're tapped in, you're aware, even if you're not consciously aware of why or how. You sense things and you know things. And you don't necessarily know how or why, but they're there. And this is someone that you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know how they're going to respond. You only get to know what they allow you to know or what they consciously want you to know. And that is if and only if the universe is like, yeah, it's in your best interest at this time. At this point, this reading is for a connection that is in a state of blocked or timed out. It's like you guys got closer together and some very real things were shared, said, and it totally upset the balance and the flow, and it's required both of you to move within yourself, to re-anchor yourself in who you are and that you love yourself, and to focus on the things that you're grateful for in order to move forward, in order to achieve the next step of actually creating a space between the two of you that doesn't allow the toxin from the past or the projections to enter into your communication with one another. And that means if you are telepathically communicating, it's not just going to be words, it's going to be concepts, it's going to be memories, it's going to be emotions. And it's not always going to be clear, especially at this point, because that alchemizing hasn't fully happened. You haven't dumped out all of the emotion for your love that you offer yet. You haven't completely been like, I don't want your cup, and I don't want to give you my cup if your cup is like that. Like, the two of you are like, I don't know. What you got in that cup looks a little fishy. And they're thinking the same thing about yours. So the two of you are like, I don't know, maybe we should just dump these out and like go to a new soda fountain machine here and see if we can get something a little less iffy. and maybe like a lot of people, and this is an interesting metaphor that's come through clearly. When you go to like the beverage machine at a fast food restaurant and you're inside and you can like pick and choose what you put in your cup. Well, maybe you're somebody that likes to do like a little bit of all, say there's 6 flavors, a little bit of all 6. Or maybe you just feel like you're straightforward and you just want like an Arnie Palmer. So you do like half tea, half iced tea. Or, interesting. Half iced tea, half lemonade. Maybe you're just going to want all tea. That could be a synchronicity for some because there are medicinal qualities present within herbs that are available in tea. So this might be an encouragement for that. A lot of antioxidants. So however you want to fill that cup, you are now going to be fully aware of all of what's going into that cup. You get to choose now. You're not like that little kid who has no say anymore. You're an adult. You are able to have that ability to advocate for yourself, with yourself. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. That way, when you do come to one another, you can be kind of like, oh, well, that looks like a little interesting. And you can sample one another's mix, right? There's still going to be things that the two of you are going to be wanting to create together. You're going to be seeing the contrast in one another and mirroring one another. So you're going to be seeing yourself more clearly because of how they perceive you. And there's going to be some misunderstandings. That's why this is such an anxiety space for you guys, because you're so used to just knowing. You walk into a room, you meet somebody, and you already kind of know how this person's going to be in your life. You already know how to move around them. But this individual, you do not know that for sure. And that's why they're in this position, because you know that they're important, because they're a mystery. the universe is bringing you your teacher in one another. Whether this individual is someone that is going to be someone that you learn from for now, and you bring that wisdom to another connection, or really what I'm getting predominantly from this is that this is someone that is very rare and unique, and they're meant to be in your world for a while. Possibly, from now on kind of a deal. There's so much importance around this reading, some like heaviness. Like it's not just like, oh, a fling. This has depth to it. There we go. It has real depth to it. With the universe showing up as the pivot point, this is divinely guided. And it may not make sense and it may make you uncomfortable. However, with the Phoenix here, there's going to be areas within you and within them that have never had real love shown to them, compassion or empathy experienced on both sides. This will empower you within yourself and allow you to see yourself more clearly and see that contrast outside of you in others that you care about. The level of self-harm that's present in the delusions that they have been programmed through repetitive experience are, to them, true, when in reality they're not. They were just a consistent happening, but it's not something that you can stereotype all of humanity based upon, a couple of bad experiences with a couple of different individuals in your first 20 years of life. That's not a fair thing to say all of humanity is then this way, because you had 2 or 3 people that were just really not great to you pretty consistently. There's a lot of strength displayed in this reading as well because of the Phoenix landing with the Wheel of Fortune. You were very stubborn, strong-willed individuals. There's no question about that. And you have to own whatever you do, create authentically, or it will hold no power for you. You will resist it. And that is part of what is going on here. There is a lack of clarity because there's not communication. You take a look at what's in your cup and they take a look at what's in their cup and you both go, I don't know, this doesn't look good. You want to start this over again? Maybe not do all 6 flavors. maybe putting root beer in with, I don't know, orange soda may not be the greatest flavor. It might not look the best. Just for example, right? Like some people that might be their jam. But so let's go back up to the beverage thing here and let's try this mix again. And I do want to let you guys know that at the bottom of the deck here right now, because this is where you are in this moment, and with the universe present, for the assertive energy, I did mention that we have the Ace of Wands up front, upright at the top of the deck. So you have the ability to create your reality. You have the ability to create all the pivotal energy present within this together. It's you both have that. You both bring your own magician energy. Then at the bottom we have this 10 of Spheres, and it's inverted. So this is what the anxiety is about. Quite a bit in more of the assertive energy. It has to do with how is this actually going to play out in the physical, and I can see all the ways in which it won't work, even though I have the ability to create. This is only emphasizing yet again that there needs to be communication between both sides. And where you're at in this moment, the crossroads, like toxic versus, higher vibrational. So you're kind of at war within yourselves, both of you. You have your fears and your anxieties and your worries. Yet you have all your hopes and your dreams and your desires, and they are mixing right now in a very uncomfortable way. And not all of them are actually yours. They are aspects that are desired for you to experience to keep you both from really going, you know what, let's just go back to this soda fountain machine and try this again. Let's dump this weird mixtures out here. Let's try for something a little more intentional. Basically saying you guys are able to create without these outside energies now, being able to influence you to add something you wouldn't want. Yeah. Yeah. You guys you're able to, you're sealed in that. So dump this stuff out and be willing to start over. Find that neutral ground, and that begins within loving yourself, empowering yourself, seeing the reality of things and being grateful for what you do have, turning that toxin from a negative into a positive, removing the illusion. And instead of not being able to see all that you have to be grateful for that is possibly behind the scenes that you don't see yet, no, trust that the universe is moving behind the scenes in your greatest interest, in your highest and best interest, and be grateful for that relationship, that connection, if nothing more, just for that awareness of that connection. To begin there and then move out from there. All right, and that'll be the reading for today. Thank you guys very much. I am incredibly grateful to each and every one of you who has co-created this reading with me, and I do hope that you have found some synchronicities and possibly some questions to contemplate with your spirit team to help bring some answers for you, to validate your intuition. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.